In southeast Georgia, where the tractor-trailers rule the road and the sound of their engines break the silence, residents are worried about a cancer cluster.
It's not supposed to be there.
Former Waycross resident Joan Tybor calls it the silent disaster.
You don't see it. It's not like a Mack truck coming down the road that's fixing to run you over.
A 2014 Georgia Department of Public Health report states the childhood cancer rate in Waycross was higher than the state average.
Stage 4.
In 3 months.
That's right.
June 1st, 2015. Cancer hit Crystal Rice's family. It tested their faith.
I was mad at God for a little while, and I wouldn't pray, and things like that. And finally, I just went to my God, and I said, God, I need you, and I need some strength.
Her 14-year-old daughter, Lexi, who's never been sick in her life, was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, a rare cancer.
I never thought this would happen.
When I met Lexi, she was having a good day, holding on to her cell phone, talking about how she misses being in school. But her resolve to live is clear and strong.
You just give up or fight.
And what did you decide to do?
To fight it.
Lexi is facing 40 rounds of chemo. Her doctors gave her a 10% chance of survival. Her mother says they'll take it.
If I listen to all those statistics, then I'm limited in what God can do for her.
This year, within a 2-month period, in and around Waycross, 3 children were diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, a cancer so rare there are only 350 new cases a year in the United States. A 4th child was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. State Representative Jason Spencer says this is clearly a red flag. The question is, what's causing it?
We have lots of people who are sick.
These parents and grandparents are looking for answers. I met with them at a local recreational center.
This is Danielle Strickland. She's passed away. She was a senior.
They're tired of children dying from cancer. They're tired of going to the cemetery.
How many more's got to be diagnosed before somebody says, okay, there's a problem?
They live in Waycross, Ocilla, Waynesville, Atkinson, Brunswick. I don't know how to say this differently, but it sounds like your community is killing you.
Exactly.
They have either lost a child to cancer or has a child battling cancer. Dee Williams and her daughter, August, live in Waynesville.
I was diagnosed when I was 11 on April 17th of 2009.
Her cancer is now in remission, but not long enough to be called a survivor. They suspect the problem is environmental, but they're not sure.
I was diagnosed when I was 10.
Marianne Clausen and her son, LJ, live a few miles from the Williams, but he and August were both treated for the same form of leukemia. Clausen is convinced it is not coincidental.
It felt like someone punched me in the gut.
Peggy Adams still mourns the death of Nayland, her grandson.
Nayland passed away January the 4th. Had 7 months of battling stage 4 neuroblastoma. He was 22 months old. And he lives near several more here in Waycross.
Janie Lane misses her granddaughter, Kylie.
They found a tumor which was located on her brainstem. It's called diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG.
8 months later, Kylie passed away. She was 4. Katie Wilkins' 5-year-old daughter, Alexa, was diagnosed with brain cancer.
It's a grade 4 very aggressive tumor called supratentorial primitive neuroectodermal tumor.
That sounds rare.
Very rare.
Alexa died this February. One by one, they reveal their pain, their fear, and their concerns. Sally Stevenson lives in Brunswick. Her 19-year-old son's cancer is now in remission.
In March of 2017, he will be considered cancer-free.
Janet McMahon lives in Ocilla. This 2010 cooperative extension test shows the arsenic level in her water well exceeded EPA maximum levels.
And they are not warning the public.
McMahon wants Georgia Public Health to issue a health alert and to investigate the potential cause of these cancers.
This is one of the best kids in the whole wide world.
Her son, Ben, died from gastroesophageal junction adenocarcinoma. He was 24.
He died of a cancer he's not even supposed to have. You're not supposed to get that cancer unless you're a heavy smoker and a heavy drinker. Until you stop what is causing the cancer, you can't cure it.
A clear environmental cause for the many cancers has not been found. And even if pollution is responsible,
It is not clear from what source.
If there's one person to be held responsible, who would that be?
There is.
These residents point to potential sources. This is a 7-ounce site, an abandoned wastewater treatment facility, and now an EPA Superfund site. They believe contaminants may be leaching into the canals and soil and are calling for testing. They point to 60 years of farmers bathing cattle with arsenic and allowing the chemical-laced water to run into the ground. They point to an industrial site near the CSX rail yard. A CSX spokesperson said in an email, in part, "We're working closely with regulators to remediate any impacts from the historic operations at Rice Yard. The company complies with all current environmental regulations and is in compliance with current permits." These residents say given the incidence of pediatric cancer, they don't feel a sense of urgency.
They need to put boots on the ground in Ware County and Brantley County and Brunswick and figure out what in the heck is going on. That's what they need to do.
Crystal Rice says she lives in fear for her family.
I have 2 other children, and every time one of them gets a headache or a stomach ache or a pain in their back, I feel sick on my stomach. You know, I'm thinking, is this it all over again?
And like the other parents, she wants to know if where she lives is safe.
It's terrifying. It is terrifying. And I don't want to live like that every day. I mean, I want to know.